Hello, this is Watch It All About with another watch review. This time we're looking at the Steinhart Ocean Vintage Military, which is a homage to a very rare Rolex Submariner, which was created just for the British Royal Navy in the late 60s, 70s. Only a small amount were made, hence why now a good version of it, of the Rolex, can fetch almost £100,000, which is quite a staggering amount of money. The Steinhart, on the other hand, only costs you about €350, and it is very well made, has good wrist presence. It's very, very similar to the Rolex, so it is more or less a direct homage at a fraction of the price. 350 versus 100,000 is quite a difference, isn't it? So so let's have a look into if it is a decent value watch for the money. As you know, the Steinhart Ocean range is a very popular range. The Steinhart Ocean 1, which is based on the Rolex Submariner, is very, very popular. They're very, very well sought after as well. They go out of stock nearly immediately as soon as they get them in, and then you can sell them on eBay, usually second hand, for just as much as you would pay new, because they're so well sought after. So in that regard, it is definitely a good buy if you're interested in buying a budget watch which will keep its price very well. Then the Steinhart Ocean range is a brilliant way to go. So let's talk about the Ocean Vintage Military then. So first of all, you'll notice the bezel is very different to normal. Rather than just having minutes to the first 15 and then every 5-minute markers, it's a minute market the whole way around. Gives it a very tall look and very handy as well. The bezel around the edge is reasonably sharp to touch, but it gives you good grip to be able to twist the bezel. Don't know if you can hear it, but it gives a very satisfying click. It makes you think that the mechanism behind the bezel movement is of very good quality. The finishing is very nice. I'll show you some close-ups later on when I put the macro lens on. It also has a domed sapphire crystal. You can see the dome there. It is a reasonably high dome. It's got a very good layer of anti-reflective coating on the underside, coupled with the dome. Really does mean that it's very good at stopping any bad reflections. You get a really good view of the dial at a lot of angles. As you'll notice as well, it's not just a plain old dome. It's got this extra little step up here, so it's almost like a two-level crystal. Just like little extras like this let you know that this is a very well made watch with lots of well thought out bits about it. The case is all brushed on the top and then polished on either side. Yeah, let me take it off now. So it's polished either side, and then the case itself is polished on the back, but the case back is brushed. The crown is very nice. I'll show you a close-up of it later on, but it has the Steinhart logo, but everywhere else apart from the logo is engraved with like a matte finish, and it's just a really nice touch rather than the plain old having the logo embossed on like the end of it. It's a really nice touch having this something a little bit different. The grip on the crown is very good, and the thread is very solid and dependable as well, which then leads us into the movement. It's a ETA 2824 automatic movement, Swiss made, and it is in the hand. It feels very dependable and sturdy when you're changing the date and time. Well, you change your date, but there is no date window, so it's a bit pointless. So when you're changing the time, it feels very good in the hand. Runs at 8 ticks a second, as you would expect. That's 28.8 thousand beats per hour. It's got a very smooth second hand, as you can see. So that's the movement. I'm sure in the future Steinhart will change movements because ETA are slowly closing their grip on who's allowed to get an ETA movement. So it might be worth snagging one of these whilst they still guarantee ETA movements. To be honest, the face is a direct homage to the Rolex in that it has these very flat hour markers. They're loomed, and it's very good loom, but they are very flat. You can't see any sort of depth to them at all, and the hands are a direct copy of them as well. I like the hands. They're a little bit different to the normal Mercedes hands you usually see on this type of watch, so I like them. I like the second hands. All the hands are polished steel with loomed centers. You can see the polished steel getting a nice reflection in the light there. This one in the center, in the circle, represents the Steinhart Ocean 19, and this is where it's quite interesting actually, because 660 foot equals 200 meters. That's actually wrong. This watch is rated at 300 meters, but Steinhart decided to put 200 meters because that's what the original Rolex was rated at. So that is a dedication for you, underselling their specs so as to replicate the homage it's based on very closely there. Obviously we have Swiss made printed at the bottom as well. The finish of the dial, you can see the texture there, is a lovely matte texture, and the printing on top of it is absolutely flawless as you would expect. So it is very nice, very nice face to behold. Let's move on to the case back. It has a Trojan on the back of a seahorse, and then just some details around the back. Interestingly, it doesn't seem to have a unique serial number on the back of this watch, unless it's sometimes they can be printed on the inside of the lugs, which I haven't actually checked, to be honest. The Bracelet of the Steinhart Ocean range is notoriously comfortable and very well made, and this is no exception. Top and bottom are brushed, and then the sides are polished. Every link is very thick and very silky and smooth, and it's also very easy to resize thanks to the screw-in links. The clasp could be a little bit better. Although this is very nice, the elbow joint, this bit here just feels like it's been quite a thin piece of steel has been used, because it's obviously folded and then stamped. It just doesn't feel quite as nice as similar watches such as a Tissot or the Christopher Ward Trident clasp. Feels a little bit nicer, but when you've got it shut, you flick that over, it feels perfectly fine. It's just that when you've got it open and you're feeling it, it does feel a little bit cheap in the hand. This section here is polished, and that's the only bit that's polished on the buckle. All of this section is all brushed. But apart from that, it is a very nice bracelet. It fits perfectly to the case, very snug, as you'd expect, and it just feels very comfortable on as well. Okay, so I think that's everything covered. Let me get my macro lens on, and then we can have a look at it a little bit closer. Okay, so start with the crown. You see there's very nice touch they've put on the crown, a little bit different to usual. And then the grip is very good as well. Let's just open it up, and then we can see the thread as well. Very, very well machined case. Let's just wind that back up. You have to excuse my dirty fingers. And the bezel is very well machined as well. This edging is very well done. There's the pip at 12. And then you can see the sweep of the second hand as well. Obviously the stutter is very slightly more pronounced when you've got it this close up, but when you're wearing it, the sweep is very smooth. See the hands as well, very, very well finished, perfectly made. And the logo. The printing is all flawless. And you can see the nice matte texture here as well. And also look at the hour markers. You can see just how flat they are. They are literally a perfect circular blob of loom, and that's it. Then you see the printing of the minute track as well. Let's look at the edging of the crystal is very nice as well. Okay, so I'll just have a look at the. Let me just wipe this down before I show you. So the finishing of the bracelet is very high quality brushed, and the polished ends as well. Let's show you the screw in pins. Here's the buckle. That's the flap which goes over the top, and then we have the elbow joint, which is polished, and here's the buckle itself. So if I put it over, you can see what I mean, that it just looks a little bit thin. It would have been nicer if it had been designed slightly differently, I think. But never mind. They probably did it just to keep costs down, to be honest. Okay, so that concludes my review of the Steinhart Ocean Vintage Military. In my opinion, it is a fantastic watch for €350. Swiss made, fantastically finished. An ETA movement, which nowadays are getting rarer and rarer, unless, of course, you buy a watch in a swatch group, such as a Tag or a Tissot or something like that. But it is very, very well made, and congratulations to them for making such a well-made watch at such a great price, because loads of watches are going up in price, even Christopher Ward's are going up in price, and Steinhart have still managed to keep theirs at such a great price. So I highly recommend it if you like the style, and if you don't mind the very, very flat matte dial, then I would go for it. Personally, I prefer texture to my dial and applied hour markers, but that's just personal preference. I still think this is a brilliant watch. Okay, so that's what it's all about, and this is the Steinhart Ocean Vintage Military. So hope you liked it.